This figure is absolutely gorgeous. Welcome back to Heroes and Villains HQ. Today we have the brand new Captain Rex Hot Toys from the Ahsoka series. So before we jump into this review, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below to stay tuned for more content. But let's open up this brand new Hot Toys figure. Okay, before we open up this box, let's take a look at the outside packaging. Sideshow Collectibles and Hot Toys specifically have a really nice consistent packaging. We always see these black boxes with the angular look, black and the dark gray, with a promotional image of the character on the front, and then this new banner down at the bottom with another promotional image. This banner also always tells us what character it is, what number it is. This one is TMS 119, and then of course that it is a 1/6 scale collectible figure. So this banner wraps around the sides. You can see that this promotional image continues. Again, same exact verbiage here, TMS 119 Captain Rex. On the box, you have all of the warning labels, all of the brands that take place, all of the information you'd want about the figure, and of course the barcode. And then on the other side of the box, another awesome promotional image that's part of this banner. So really awesome packaging. I love Sideshows and Hot Toys packaging. Super consistent, looks nice, it feels premium, and the promotional images of Captain Rex look super, super cool. So enough talking about the box. Let's open this up and check out the figure. Another really awesome aspect of the Hot Toys packaging is the inside slip cover. Each package comes with an inside slip cover before you actually get to the figure, and these always look incredible. This figure is absolutely gorgeous. Let's just do a quick 360 spin. And you can see, I mean, no detail is left unturned with this figure. And this is in the Phase 2 armor. Now, Captain Rex, along with all Hot Toys, come with a ton of accessories. The accessories that this figure comes with is an entire arsenal of swappable hands, a blaster rifle, also a thermal detonator, which holding a little bit closer, you can see the details there. The swappable Phase 1 armor. So he includes a swappable helmet, swappable chest plate, as well as a pair of swappable calf armor pieces and a pair of swappable forearm pieces. And the reason for this, as you can see, obviously Captain Rex's Phase 2 armor has all of the dash marks signifying the battles he has won during the Clone Wars. The Phase 1 armor does not. So coming in much closer to this figure, he starts with his Phase 2 armor out of the box. And again, the detailing on this figure, the weathering. I mean, look at those calves and even the boot detailing. Just incredible. His waist cape, his camo, is wired on the outside in this blue line, so you are going to be able to get some really dynamic poses with that. He does have both of his blaster pistol holsters, which are free-flowing there, only attached by the string, so they aren't going to restrict any sort of pose that you want to have Captain Rex in. Again, looking at the detailing, you can even see that the welding marks for Captain Rex's custom armor are raised above the standard plastic. So they did go the extra mile there to really get those right. In the Ahsoka series, the clone armor for both Phase 1 and Phase 2 are almost a mashup between the current live action Clone Trooper look as well as the animated look. So for some people, it's really odd. And the biggest thing with the Captain Rex here is the ammo pouch, which was a big concern for a lot of fans of being too large. And obviously you can see his pauldron here looks really great. It's got some good structure to it around the shoulder. But the ammo pouch does look massive. Now, what I will say about the figure, because I was concerned about this, I thought for sure I'd have him displayed in the Phase 1 armor because of that ammo pouch. And while even on screen right now recording this, it looks big, but in person, it really doesn't look as bad as you think it does when you're watching a review or watching a video on this figure. So I will caution you against making a decision solely on that. The Phase 2 armor looks incredible, and the ammo pouch really does not take away from the look. Lastly, getting a close-up on the Phase 2 helmet, this is where it shines. The weathering, the detailing, all the hatch marks, the paint, it just looks so good. This is without a doubt the best representation we've ever seen for Captain Rex in Hot Toys. But let's go ahead and get him in the Phase 1 armor. All right, now I have the Phase 1 armor on Captain Rex. This took me about 10 minutes to fully swap, as you had to take the hands and the feet off to get the calf and forearm plates on, and then obviously you had to take the helmet off and remove the chest plate and then put them back on. So it was a very easy process, just, like I said, it took about 10 minutes. I did go ahead and give him his blaster rifle. The one thing that's interesting about this is obviously a slightly different design for this rifle, because in the Ahsoka series, it's a little more of a realistic take on the clone rifle versus what we see, in the Clone Wars and in episodes 2 and 3. As for the helmet, again, you can see kind of the mashup between live action and animation, specifically with the jaw of the helmet. The jaw is wider than what you see on a standard Phase 1 clone, and that's because the Clone Wars TV show had really wide helmets at the bottom of them. So I think that's the creative inspiration for this armor in the Ahsoka show, was kind of taking the two properties that Dave Filoni worked on and putting them together. So like I said, it's definitely a take. I think I prefer the Phase 2 look over the Phase 1 here, but I could totally understand, liking this version over the other. One thing I did not touch on is the base. This is Teth. So what we see in the first arc of the Clone Wars, that's what's going on during the episodes where Ahsoka and Anakin and Captain Rex are seen together in the Ahsoka show. So that is the base for this. And then obviously we have a different pauldron design that's similar to the Phase 1 design we see in the Clone Wars. Lastly, the blaster pistols. You do get two of them. They slide in to the holsters very easily, and they have a little bit of friction, so it keeps them in there. And again, these pistols are a slightly more realistic design than what we see in the Clone Wars. The last thing I want to touch on with this figure is the articulation. Real quick, on both helmets, they have movable range finders that go up and down. The articulation is really standard for this new Hot Toys clone body. So if you have gotten a Clone Trooper figure from Hot Toys in the last couple of years, that's what you're going to expect from this figure. Some really basic articulation, and it's really great. You can really pose him up and get a ton of different looks. So really happy with that. Showcasing the articulation very quickly with a few poses. You can see this is in a classic ready to shoot pose. Also, one I really enjoyed was this running pose. You're able to really get those legs to turn and move, and all of the armor plates move around the thighs and calves as well, allowing you to really get into some dynamic poses. And of course, the crotch grabber in the back allows you to stabilize the figure, although the center of gravity on this was great and I was able to stand him up. Lastly, classic standing pose. Nothing about it, it's just perfect. So what are my final thoughts on the Hot Toys Captain Rex figure from the Ahsoka series? This is by far one of the best Hot Toy clone troopers they've released to date. I absolutely love this figure. Captain Rex is obviously one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, and I loved the Ahsoka show, and specifically those episodes that they had the flashback to the Clone Wars. It was just so, so cool. And this figure delivers in giving us both the Phase 1 and Phase 2 likeness of Captain Rex. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I could understand some of the complaints people have with the look of the armor. Obviously, as I mentioned a couple of times in the review, it's kind of a mashup between live action and animation. So for the folks who don't enjoy that look, I could understand not liking this figure. However, if you don't have an issue with that armor style, then this figure is going to be really awesome and a perfect addition to your Hot Toys collection. So I really hope you enjoyed this Hot Toys review of Captain Rex. If you did, hit the like button down below, and while you're there, subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for more Star Wars and Marvel content. But thank you all again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.